Just hearing the name sends chills down Jae-hyuk's spine. In his mind, Han Philip isn't a student. He's a demon standing atop a pile of bodies. Flashback to a year ago. Philip plays the nice senior, flashing a smile as he hands a stack of cash to a kid, asking him to sell some special stickers. The kid tries to refuse, pleading weakness. But Philip wraps an arm around him like a big brother, killing his resistance with terrifying kindness. Soon, the kids are drowning in booze and false confidence. The victim feels invincible, while Philip sits sober in the corner, watching his trap snap shut. Party's over. Everyone's passed out cold. Philip, the only one awake, creeps through the dark room toward his prey like a grim reaper. Morning comes with a brutal hangover. Philip smiles, handing over a fix, and reveals the cold truth. One hit was all it took to get hooked. To feed the addiction, the kid becomes Philip's slave. He sells drugs desperately, his body withering away in a hopeless spiral of abuse. He gets caught using the supply. Philip cuts him off instantly. The junkie collapses, screaming and begging for a fix like a desperate animal. Philip delivers a brutal kick, calls him pathetic, and walks away. He leaves the broken tool crying in the rain, completely unbothered. Seeking revenge, the kid returns with a gang, screaming about his ruined life. Philip doesn't flinch. He just laughs maniacally in the face of the mob. Violence erupts. Philip moves like a blur, dodging bats and landing kicks with lethal precision. It's not a fight, it's a massacre. Even knives don't change the odds. Philip weaves through the blades, eyes wild with adrenaline, treating the bloodshed like a game. Silence falls over the carnage. Philip stands shirtless, blood dripping from his dragon tattoo. In this moment, a true demon is born. He wipes blood from his face, declaring himself leader of Invincible. Hearing this story in the present, Jae-hyuk is shaking uncontrollably. Cut to another pivotal moment. In the gym storage, a student summons every ounce of courage to look Philip in the eye and refuse his recruitment. Philip's smile turns icy. He whispers that he's never been rejected before, delivering a chilling ultimatum. Are you sure you want to be my enemy? Chapter 41 opens by recapping that fatal turning point. Doyen's refusal to join didn't just annoy Philip, it ignited a war. Title: Doyen's Doubt. Judging by the terror on his face, Doyen realizes he just poked a monster, and it might be too late to turn back. Jae-hyuk stammers, refusing to join. The memory of a ruined victim flashes in his mind, warning him that those guys are absolute trash. He shouts his refusal and tries to flee, but the silver-haired leader grabs him. With a chilling smile, he asks, "Who told you such rumors?" As Jae-hyuk runs away, the subordinate is confused. But the leader's eyes burn with interest. That kid is a talent. I've never seen anyone evolve this fast. Back at base, the leader plots how to recruit him. No matter how stubborn Jae-hyuk is, he's certain he can bring this weapon under his control. His possessiveness turns into bloodlust, and his smile twists. If I can't have him, I will destroy him with my own hands. Back at school, the mood lightens. They're watching the idol group Invincible, and a classmate cluelessly asks if Jae-hyuk was invited by these stars. Daesum breathes a sigh of relief that her hero didn't go astray, then fangirls all over him. Jae-hyuk is flustered by her overwhelming enthusiasm. Watching this sweet moment, the dark-haired friend feels a pang of jealousy. If he hadn't chosen the wrong path, could he be the one standing by her side? Hypotheticals don't matter, the present does. To break the silence, he suggests they all watch the latest fighting match together. Daesum started watching MMA for Doyen, but now she's a fan. On screen, the fight is intense, with one fighter raining punches from the mount. Seeing the reversal, Daesum blurts out, "Just like when Jae-hyuk beat Doyen." She forgets Doyen is sitting right there, making the atmosphere instantly awkward. The friend finally asks the burning question, "Where do you train?" Panicked, Jae-hyuk accidentally lets slip the name Lee Min-shai. Remembering the demon tutor's gag order, Jae-hyuk is terrified and frantically covers Daesum's mouth. If this gets out, he's dead meat when he gets home. Doin agrees to keep the secret, but his mind is racing. A high school girl trained that weakling into a fighter? It seems impossible. The next day, fate intervenes. Walking down the hallway, Doin spots the very person they were talking about, Lee Min-shai. Following her into the library, curiosity overrides reason. Palm sweating, he takes a deep breath and calls out to her. Min-shai looks confused. But Doin is impatient, his eyes burning with intensity. You taught that kid, didn't you? How did you do it? Min-shai curses at him like he's crazy and storms off. Doin stands his ground, throwing out bait. If you trained a fighter, you must be even stronger, right? He reveals his true intent. Spar with me. Hearing this, Min-shai freezes in her tracks and turns back in disbelief. Her eyes turn fierce, dripping with mockery. You couldn't even beat a loser, and now you have a death wish? The tension explodes. Min-shai squares up, eyes sharp as knives. She lays down the law. No time limit. Fight until one drops or quits. Ready to die? Min-shai asks coldly. Doin senses the lethal aura and forces himself to stay calm, knowing he can't underestimate her. She launches a high kick instantly. Doin reacts fast, catching her leg and planting his counterattack immediately. He goes to punch, but Min-shai defies physics, spinning her entire body midair while he holds her leg. Doin is completely stunned. Thud. The impossible strike lands with a heavy impact, shaking the very frame. The tide turns. Doin strikes back hard, landing a heavy kick that sends Min-shai stumbling backward from the sheer force. It's Lee Min-shai versus Co. Doin. A full-on collision where neither is holding back anything. Doin goes berserk, his punches kicking up dust. Watching from the sidelines, Jae-hyuk and Daesum are terrified by the intensity. Flashback to that moment. Doin is still processing her insane spinning kick when her foot smashes squarely into his face. Blood trickles from his mouth. Doin nearly blacks out. But Min-shai shows no mercy, launching another flying kick instantly. Doin dodges fast this time, but Min-shai switches levels in a split second, sweeping low at his legs. The spectators joke about placing bets, earning a furious scream from Min-shai. Doin uses the distraction to refocus, his gaze turning icy. They accelerate into a blur. Doin boasts about his speed, but Min-shai smirks back. You want speed? Bring it on! Mocking his simple attacks, Min-shai finds an opening and lands a brutal uppercut, snapping Doin's head back. Doin tries to block, but his guard crumbles. The heavy blow lands, twisting his face in sheer pain. A liver blow. Jae-hyuk gasps. Doin crumples, struggling to breathe after taking a critical hit right to the organ. She's not done. She jumps onto his back, locking her legs around his neck. A standing reverse triangle choke. Jae-hyuk is stunned to see a ground technique used while standing. Doin turns purple, gasping for air in the suffocating vice grip. Doin manages to throw her off with a desperate burst of strength. As they separate, he admits that her MMA skills are terrifyingly real. Min-shai lies back, taunting him to engage. Doin freezes, sensing a trap she's clearly baiting him into a choke hold. Doin refuses the bait and demands a standing fight. Min-shai clicks her tongue, springs up instantly, and launches a lightning-fast kick. Min-shai mocks his reliance on ground techniques. To prove a point, she arrogantly declares she'll finish this using only strikes from now on. The insult hits home. Doin's rage boils over as he takes his stance, desperate to reclaim his pride as a former undefeated fighter. Doin strikes, but Min-shai doesn't flinch. She slips the punch and slams a counter right into his chest with terrifying speed. A cross counter! The spectator gasps. Doin sees stars, reeling from the impact, while Min-shai glares down with cold intensity. No mercy. Min-shai unleashes a barrage of strikes. Doin can't defend, every hit lands flush, distorting his face in agony. She follows up with a brutal kick. Doin is sent flying, his mind screaming in denial as the pain tears through his body. The spectators are baffled. How does a small girl hit harder than him? The glasses guy suddenly notices the secret hidden in her footwork. It's pure physics. She throws her entire body weight into every punch, turning her small frame into a human wrecking ball. She loses balance when she misses, the glasses guy shouts. Doyen's eyes light up. He finally sees an opening to turn the tide. Doyen bets everything on this move. He dodges and spins violently, launching a desperate backspin blow to end it all. The fist tears through the air. The spinning strike connects with explosive force, shattering the moment. A backspin counter to a backspin? The spectator screams. Minshai read him like a book, spinning faster to land the fatal blow. It's over. Doyen is launched into the air and crashes down hard, completely knocked out cold by the superior fighter. Silence falls over the rooftop. Minshai stands tall, barely breaking a sweat, while Doyen lies motionless on the mat. Lee Minchi wins! The spectator roars in disbelief, witnessing a total domination by the fight tutor. Looking back at that finishing blow, Doyen's brutal defeat cements Minchi's status as a monster in human form. Night falls over the city. The fight is won, but the real tutoring has only just begun. Pizza party on the roof. Turns out this meal was a bet from the fight loser buys, and Daesum reveals the details with a grin. Doyen forgot his wallet, so Jae-hyuk's paying. But as Doyen eats, cold sweat drips. He realizes Minshai didn't take a single hit during the fight. Doyen asks how she got so strong, and she casually says, "I just did it." The guys are floored. She's a total fighting genius. Jae-hyuk presses for details, and the truth comes out. She's trained for 9 years just to beat up her bullying brother. Not genius, just pure spite. Doyen asks why she doesn't go pro with those skills. Minshai immediately gets defensive, eyes darting away as she dodges the question. Her excuse? She doesn't want to ruin her pretty face before meeting Prince Charming. The guys are left completely speechless by this girly logic. Doyen tries to ask for lessons, but Minshai shuts him down instantly with a hard no way. Rejection doesn't get clearer than that. Doyen doesn't give up. He sits down and explains he doesn't want to be a thug, just genuinely stronger. His sincerity makes Minshai hesitate. Minshai starts to negotiate but realizes Doyen knows she's getting tutored by Jae-hyuk. Mortified, she snaps and strangles Jae-hyuk for blabbing. Then Daesum pulls out her perfect exam scores and proposes a trade. She'll tutor them in Korean if they let her join the training group. Smooth move. Tutoring from a top student. Doyen realizes he can improve his grades and his fighting, so he agrees to the deal instantly. Daesum acts tough about grades, but Doyen realizes she's doing this to keep them on the right path. It's surprisingly sweet. Training day 1. Daesum shows up in full gear, ready to go. Jae-hyuk is baffled. Why is the tutor joining the workout? Daesum claims she needs the cardio and self-defense. Minshai looks annoyed, but Daesum excitedly suggests they need a cool team name. Everyone agrees, putting Minshai on the spot. Panicked and rushed, she blurts out the worst name possible, Lee Minshai and the Little Rascals. The name is absolutely terrible, leaving everyone speechless. But these peaceful, chaotic days are just the calm before the storm. Cut to a dark room. A long-haired man lies motionless on his bed, completely ignoring his brother's calls. The vibe is heavy. It's the guy Jae-hyuk KO'd. The memory of losing to a scrawny nerd in one hit is eating him alive with humiliation. He throws a tantrum, convinced his reputation with girls is ruined. But the self-pity quickly turns into cold rage. Just wait. Revenge moves fast. The brother is already standing at the gates of Jae-hyuk's school, staring down the building with bad intentions. In the hallway, Song Jae-hwa stands with hands in pockets, mask hiding his face, but not the malice in his eyes. Staring at the 1 to 3 class sign, he swears to avenge his brother. With a deafening crash, he kicks the classroom door open, startling the entire class. Standing at the front, he screams, demanding to know who Kim Jae-hyuk is. They lock eyes. Jae-hyuk smirks, mocking the intruder for being a shrimp. Jae-hwa pauses, confused that his target looks like just another average student. Before Jae-hyuk can react, Jae-woo reveals his identity. He's the younger sibling of the monster, Song Gun-ho. In the same breath, he lands a cheap shot kick right into Jae-hyuk's back. The kick lands hard, twisting Jae-hyuk's face in pain. A girl nearby, glued to her phone, freezes in pure shock, her mind going blank at the sudden violence. End of chapter 43, showcasing other webtoon recommendations. Back to the action, Jae-woo grins, showing teeth and zero mercy. The sneak attack is fast and brutal, sending Jae-hyuk flying. Jae-hyuk breaks into a cold sweat, disoriented. The girl with the phone is still reeling, unable to believe someone would pull a stunt like this in class. As Jae-hyuk clutches his side in agony, Jae-woo sneers, telling him to stop faking it. The lunatic claims that kick was just a light tap, radiating pure arrogance. The teacher finally rushes in, yelling. Jae-woo decides to bail, winking and shouting "see you after school" before sprinting off, leaving the room in confusion. Outside, Jae-hyuk is still recovering. Friends crowd around, bombarding him with questions, shocked that the psycho attacked him out of nowhere. The anger grows as they realize the kick was professional. Friends offer to jump in, but Jae-hyuk, desperate to avoid a scene, nervously waves them off. Just as Jae-hyuk breathes a sigh of relief, thinking he's safe, a hand grips his shoulder from the shadows. The psycho is still hunting him. Jae-woo screams for a duel, drawing a crowd. Jae-hyuk pleads that he doesn't want to fight, but the kid refuses to listen and launches another kick. A high kick whistles through the air. Jae-woo screams about avenging Song Gun-ho. Jae-hyuk freezes, the memory of that long-haired monster flashing in his mind. It all clicks. Backed against the lockers, Jae-hyuk yells that he never wanted to fight Gun-ho either. But Jae-woo sees red, screaming that his brother has been rotting in his room ever since that loss. Obsessed with restoring his brother's honor, Jae-woo snaps. He points a finger, warning Jae-hyuk not to underestimate him, then launches a massive kick that sends Jae-hyuk flying like a ragdoll. Jae-hyuk stumbles, terrified. Jae-woo pulls down his mask, arrogantly revealing his trump card. He's a taekwondo specialist, and he's even stronger than his brute of a brother. Stronger than Gun-ho? And taekwondo? Jae-hyuk's heart sinks, cold sweat dripping. As the crowd grows, his real fear kicks in. This commotion is going to attract the invincible gang. Terrified that fighting will attract the gang's attention, he sprints down the hallway screaming, "I'm not fighting!" The next day, the masked stalker is waiting on his desk, cheering, "Think you can run? I'm not giving up!" It's a nightmare loop. Cafeteria, streets. The stalker is everywhere, demanding a fight while he flees in terror. Cornered, he runs to the rooftop to report to his coach. Min-chae simply munches on a sandwich, listening to his pathetic tale. He complains about her casual eating, but she snaps back, claiming she's strengthening his body. Amidst his panic, "He's your size, why the fear?" she asks. He admits the truth. Fighting means attention from the invincible gang, and that terrifies him. She pumps him up to end it quickly. He roars with determination, then immediately collapses from sheer stress and fear. At the school gate, the stalker intercepts him again with a cheerful threat. "I'll do this until you agree to fight." "Why?" he begs. The answer is absurd. "Family honor. My brother lost to you, so I must restore our reputation." He's baffled. Turns out the stalker is the brother of the boss he beat. Desperate for peace, he even bows and apologizes to his former rival. The ex-boss is chill about the loss, but the damage is done. Whispers spread through the school. "That's the kid who beat Song Gun-ho." Hearing others mock his brother's loss triggers the masked kid. The humiliation fuels his rage. He has to settle the score right now. He grabs the collar, screaming, "I can't stand the shame! We fight!" Staring into those crazy eyes, he knows there's no escape. The showdown begins in a parking lot. The challenger is buzzing with excitement, asking about his style, while the brother watches with worry. No hesitation. The challenger screams, "Taekwondo!" and launches a lightning-fast high kick straight to his head. Thud. The impact is brutal. He takes the hit squarely, shocked by the sheer power behind the kick. Add page, skipping narration. The kick lands with explosive force. His head spins, and the reality of the danger sets in instantly. That was brutal. Facing a heavy kick from above, Jae-hyuk barely manages to block, cold sweat dripping instantly. If that connected, it would have been over. No time to breathe. The opponent follows up with rapid double kicks, leaving Jae-hyuk helpless. Someone on the sidelines cheers for the nary kick, clearly an expert move. Cut to the sidelines. Sarah Hong covers her ears, annoyed by the noise, then notices Min Shai next to her. She's puzzled. Who is this? Is she here to cheer too? Sarah wildly assumes Min Shai is Jae-hyuk's girlfriend. She asks, and Min Shai instantly explodes, practically screaming "Get lost!" in her face, making Sarah flinch. Surprisingly, the outburst hits Sarah right in the feels. Blushing and swooning over this cold attitude, she even tries to ask for her number, completely ignoring the fight. Back to the fight. The Taekwondo fighter launches a fierce kick, but Jae-hyuk barely dodges sideways. The stomp shakes the floorboards. That was close. Before he can recover, the opponent connects with a spinning back kick. It lands squarely on Jae-hyuk's head, knocking him off balance instantly. The impact is massive. Jae-hyuk is sent flying and crashes onto the floor, his head ringing and vision blurring from the blow. The opponent goes berserk, screaming "You're dead," while launching a relentless flurry of kicks. Jae-hyuk curls up, desperately protecting his head, completely pinned down. Another whirlwind kick. His defense is crumbling. Jae-hyuk grits his teeth, knowing he's guaranteed to lose if he keeps acting as a punching bag. Jae-hyuk tries to punch back, but the opponent is too slippery, retreating instantly. He can't reach him. The distance is completely controlled by the enemy, frustrating him endlessly. In his desperation, Jae-hyuk remembers his training. Min Shai had analyzed this. Taekwondo footwork is fast and agile, making it hard to close the distance head-on. If you can't catch him, take out his legs. Min Shai taught him the solution. Use low kicks to disrupt the opponent's rhythm. Back in the fight, Jae-hyuk's eyes sharpen. He throws a jab to block the view, then follows up with a vicious low kick right to the shin. It works perfectly. Since sport Taekwondo forbids low kicks, the opponent isn't used to the pain and instantly flinches. Seeing it work, Jae-hyuk spams the move, kicking the legs over and over. The opponent screams, "Is that all you got?" But Jae-hyuk doesn't stop. It's his only chance. But he underestimated the opponent. Just as he kicks again, the fighter endures the pain and counters with a brutal uppercut, stunning Jae-hyuk. You can't use the same trick forever. Predicting the low kick, the opponent accelerates and slips right behind Jae-hyuk's defenseless back. Bad move. Missing the kick leaves him wide open. The opponent leaps up and chops a kick down onto Jae-hyuk's neck and collarbone. Something definitely cracked. The tables turn instantly. The opponent unleashes a brutal combo, turning Jae-hyuk into a punching bag again. But the spectators are shocked. How is he still standing after all that? Min Shai watches coldly, urging focus. The nerd is getting wrecked by the redhead's kicks. His low kicks are useless, and panic is setting in. Min Shai's lesson echoes in his mind. Taekwondo has a fatal flaw: the backspin kick. Powerful, but it exposes the back to the enemy. In the ring, falling is fine, but this is a street fight. Min Shai predicted it. The opponent will use a backspin kick mid-combo. That's the only chance to counter. Here it comes. The redhead spins, cracking the floor. The backspin kick. The nerd locks in. He's been waiting for this exact split second. He charges in. The nerd closes the distance, clinches tight, and executes a perfect hip toss while the opponent is off balance. The redhead struggles to stay up, but the nerd grits his teeth, putting every ounce of desperate strength into the throw. Go down! With a massive crash, the opponent hits the floor. The nerd stands up, gasping, but his eyes go wide with sudden, utter confusion. Even Min Shai is stunned. As the dust settles, the fierce redhead kneels in pain and rage, but something is definitely off about the situation. The nerd's brain breaks. His eyes bug out as he screams in total disbelief. "You're a girl!" End of chapter 45. The chapter ends on this ridiculous cliffhanger. Who knew the brutal fighter was actually a girl? A replay of that massive throw shows the brutal impact. The redhead took a hard hit, her clothes tearing from the friction. Eyes drift down. The nerd double-checks reality. This shock hits him harder than any punch. His brain is completely frying. The misunderstanding explodes. Song Jae screams, "So what if I'm a girl?" The nerd covers his face in shame. He really thought she was a guy. Bystanders are confused. She calls her brother Hyung instead of Appa. No wonder he was fooled. Jae tries to rage, then realizes her pants actually did rip. Rai of maximum awkwardness. He offers to pay and stop, but the savage girl just kicks off the tattered pants. "Good. Clothes just slow me down anyway." Suddenly, the sky opens up. Rain pours down. While the nerd stands confused, the rain just seems to pump Jae up even more. "Don't go easy on me just because I'm a girl." She moves like a ghost in the rain, footwork blurring. Her midair spin is so fast it terrifies him. Incoming. A Taekwondo 540-degree kick. Using centrifugal force, she slams her foot into his head. He gets rocked. The power is absolutely insane. She's not done. That was just the warm-up. Jae goes berserk, raining down kicks. The nerd is a human punching bag, panicking. How is she even faster than before? Rain lashes down as Taekwondo girl unleashes a brutal axe kick straight to Glass's head. But the instructor warned him. Taekwondo's power comes at a cost. Deadly stamina drain. Glasses grits his teeth and sprints. It's not cowardice. It's strategy, waiting for her gas tank to empty. While she screams in rage, Glasses suddenly stops, spins around, and launches his counterattack. He feints with punches to force a dodge, but his real target is her legs. Smack! The low kick connects perfectly, crippling the essential mobility of a Taekwondo fighter. Kick after kick, targeting the legs. Without mobility, her flashy techniques are useless. Desperate and in pain, Taekwondo girl lashes out with a high kick, sending Glasses flying. Glasses blocks it and notices she's gasping for air. The low kicks are taking their toll. Seeing her stumble, Glasses seizes the moment and slams a jab right into her face. Is it over? With her legs shot, she can't retreat fast enough to escape the finish. Shockingly, she still has fight left. She spins violently, whipping up a gust of wind. A devastating back kick. It hits square in the chest, rattling Glasses to his core. Not done yet. She lunges forward, wraps her legs around him, and drags the fight to the ground. Arbar locked in. His arm is bent back, looking like it's about to snap any second. Tap out! She screams desperately, but Glasses refuses to yield, even as pain consumes him. Just before the arm breaks, a hand intervenes. The long-haired man declares, "It's over." "My sister lost," he states coldly. Glasses is declared the winner. He won. He actually won. Glasses screams into the rain, releasing all his pent-up tension. Defeated, Shorthair collapses sobbing. She fought so hard just to avenge her brother. In the pouring rain, the short-haired girl sits trembling, crushed by defeat. Suddenly, a hand reaches out, offering a coat. Jae smiles gently, worried she'll catch a cold, apologizing that the coat is dirty. Her eyes widen, face flushing red at his kindness. Cold rain drips down her soaked tank top. In this moment, the tough fighter girl looks incredibly vulnerable. Transition. Promotion for other works. Back to that rainy night, she's shivering uncontrollably. Jae insists she take the coat, his voice firm but kind. Staring at his gentle smile, she freezes, her defenses completely melted by his unexpected warmth. Jae carries her on his back through the flooded streets. She clings to him, lying that only her leg hurts to hide the pain. Meanwhile, Gun, who is furious as he realizes the truth, Jae held back the entire fight because he knew his opponent was a girl. Recalling the fight, she realizes he didn't fully lock the armbar. Losing to such a gentle guy actually doesn't feel that bad. The scene shifts to her sister carrying her, telling her to let it go. She grits her teeth, face full of defiance. In a flashback, young Jaiwoo is bullied for looking like a boy. Her sister doesn't hesitate, she roars and punches the bully right in the face. After chasing the bullies away, her sister smiles and pats her head, promising to protect her forever. That moment became her anchor. Back in the present, walking in the rain, she sneezes. Remembering how she acted on his back, she cringes at her own vulnerability. The rain stops and the sun comes out, washing away the gloom as school life returns to normal. On the way home, the red-haired guy Jaiwoo suddenly appears. Jaehyuk flinches, expecting a fight, but sees the suit in hand. Turns out she's just returning the clothes dry cleaned, no less. They exchange awkward thanks, the tension dissolving over a simple suit. Jaehyuk offers to buy dinner as an apology. His friends, reading the room perfectly, make terrible excuses and bail to leave them alone. On the side, a random guy tries to flirt with the black-haired girl, only to get brutally shut down with a look of pure disgust. The flirt is left heartbroken. Cut to the burger joint, where the tomboy is wolfing down her meal, completely ditching any ladylike image. Mid-burger, Jaehyuk suddenly stammers out a sensitive question. So, why did you drop out back then? The air turns awkward instantly. Turns out he quit to be an influencer. Despite working part-time now, he brazenly vows to hit 1 million subscribers someday. His cool moment lasts 3 seconds before violent sneezes take over. The rain earlier gave him a nasty cold, leaving Jaehyuk looking worried. Outside, Jaehyuk suddenly sprints off without a proper goodbye, leaving them confused and assuming he desperately needed the bathroom. He actually went to buy medicine. Jaehyuk hands over hot ginger tea and pills, guiltily admitting, "This cold is probably my fault, take this." After the goodbye, Jaehyuk walks away, leaving a cool silhouette behind. The sudden act of care hits Song Jae-woo hard. Clutching the medicine bag, despite wanting to complain, Song Jae-woo's eyes soften, betraying how touched he really is. His face flushes bright red as he grumbles internally. That jerk makes me sick then gives me meds? What's his deal? Just as he's about to say something with a flushed face, an interruption cuts the moment short, stifling his emotions. Cut to school. The homeroom teacher mysteriously announces a transfer student is joining today, signaling the end of peaceful daily life. The door opens, and it's Song Jae-woo. She's back in a skirt, greeting the whole class with overflowing energy. "Hello everyone." While the class is confused, Jaehyuk is sweating bullets, eyes popping out in terror. "Why is SHE here? In our class?" She smiles innocently as the narration claims peaceful days. But that giant, however, screams that the calm is officially over. Chapter end. A new storm is brewing. Episode 47 ends on a cliffhanger. 2 sets of footsteps echo in the hallway, the heavy drag of slippers, and the light tap of flat shoes. Paths are crossing. Jaehyuk spins around to find Song Jae-woo smiling right behind him, asking in a panic, "Why do you keep following me?" She yells back righteously, "You are the only person I know. If you don't show me around, I'm sticking to you like glue." Left with no choice, Jaehyuk sighs and accepts his fate, acting like a tour guide showing her the snack shop, cafeteria, and art room. They reach the field as a soccer ball rolls over. Song Jae-woo traps it, signaling she wants to play. Jaehyuk is trapped now. On the field, the short-haired girl launches a powerful kick. The ball curves perfectly into the net. As the guy watches in awe, she proudly brags about her elementary school soccer days. Basketball? Swish. Sprinting? Like the wind. She's an all-around athletic machine. The guy is floored. "Is there anything you can't do?" On the stairs, he asks if she gets tired of things easily. She turns with a beaming smile, eyes shining, opposite. "Once I get interested, I dive in deep." At home, Muscle Sis calls her out. You re-enrolled for that kid, didn't you? Jaehwoo panics, but Sis laughs. Can't help it. Falling in love runs in our family. Jaehwoo denies it frantically, face burning red. Alone on the balcony staring at the night, she finally admits to herself. She's just a little curious about him. To hide her embarrassment, she slams the table. I just do what I want. She acts tough, but turning away, her pounding heart betrays her. She's hooked. Back at school, Jae-hyuk is stressed out. Between tutoring Min-chae and keeping up with his own grades, the pressure is crushing him. Suddenly, a foot lands on the desk. Jaehwoo is sitting right on his desk during class. Jae-hyuk is horrified. Are you crazy? We're in class. Jaehwoo tries to look studious, but she's sweating bullets, understanding absolutely nothing. The other students roll their eyes. She's completely lost. She even follows him to the club room. Jaehwoo claims she wants to be diligent, but all Jae-hyuk remembers is her screaming "Let's fight" in the past. The door creaks open. Jaehwoo walks in with her crew. The club member recognizes her immediately, and the atmosphere instantly gets weird. Introductions turn into a huge, awkward moment. They've met before, and not on good terms. The air is thick with mistrust. Suddenly, the new guys start flexing designer pencil cases, designer clothes. The club members are stunned by this sudden display of luxury items. But the flexing turns to shame. They didn't want this stuff. Seniors forced them to buy these discounted goods. The truth is much uglier. It's a scam targeting freshmen. Buy these fake goods or get bullied. Hearing about these dirty tactics, everyone feels a mix of anger and chills. Jae-hyuk demands a name. Cut to the culprit tattooed, smoking, pure trouble. It's Park Do-seop, number 5 of the Invincible Gang. Bonus time. Jaehwoo is working out like crazy. Sis teases, dieting for the boy? Jaehwoo explodes in denial again, screaming for her to leave. Stretching on the mat, she finds Jae-hyuk's social media. Jae-hyuk checks his phone, terrified by her message. Let's fight again. He thinks he's dead. If you love this tension-filled story, don't forget to support the creators and maybe even read ahead. Back at school, trembling victims admit they were forced to buy junk. Jae-hyuk fumes with anger, while outside, the culprit relaxes with a soda. The blonde thug turns, and the hiding students freeze in terror. He's from the Invincible Gang. His mere presence screams danger. Jae-hyuk is sweating bullets. He's been dodging Invincible to save his own skin, but now, guilt washes over him as he faces his friends. He lowers his head, apologizing for his helplessness. The victims actually try to comfort him, resigned to their fate, saying fighting back only makes it worse. Cut to the bullies. Park Do-seop is laughing maniacally, counting the cash he scammed by selling cheap junk at premium prices. As Invincible's number 5, Do-seop rakes it in, but he's paranoid. He fears his boss, Philip, might find out about this petty side hustle. Convinced his boss is clueless, his arrogance returns instantly. He leads his crew to the first-year hallway, ready to hunt for fresh targets. In the hallway, he corners a student, claiming the kid dirted his luxury goods. It's not a sale, it's a robbery in plain sight. A shove, a threat, and the money transfer pings. Thousands flow in, and they laugh, thinking making money this way is a joke. Greed knows no bounds. Do-seop spots his previous victims. With a predatory grin, he decides to target the easy marks again. He blocks the students with a fake smile, offering a special discount on a used phone. They look at him like they're staring at the Grim Reaper. The students stammer that they already bought one. Do-seop's smile vanishes instantly, replaced by a cold, viper-like glare. Oh, really? No more talk, just a brutal slap. The student clutches his face, begging that he has no money, but his pleas fall on deaf ears. Do-seop shamelessly suggests a payment plan. Desperate, the student yells, "Aren't these fakes?" instantly triggering the bully's rage. The word fake snaps something inside him. He unleashes a beatdown, screaming insults about the student's looks, relishing the cruelty. Like a cat playing with a mouse, He smashes a bag of chips into the student's face, getting a sick thrill from the sheer terror in his eyes. The torture escalates. He mixes dirt into the chips, burns the bag with his cigarette, and offers the trash, "Eat or die." As the student begs for mercy, Dosiop delivers a vicious backhand slap. With this maniac, even begging is a mistake. Finally, he shoves the filthy snacks into the student's mouth, forcing him to chew. It's a scene of absolute, sickening humiliation. In the dim room, the blonde thug forces the victim's head down, commanding him to swallow. The boy screams in pure agony and humiliation. The brutality continues until a terrified friend rushes in, desperate to stop the beating by offering to transfer money. Transfer complete. The thug smirks at his phone, mocking the kneeling victim for getting beaten over cash. To finish the humiliation, he kicks the wallet into a dirty puddle and leaves, leaving the boys trembling in despair. Cut to Jaehyuk, walking peacefully in the sunlight checking his phone, until something shocking catches his eye. It's his friends. One of them is limping, battered and bloody. Jaehyuk freezes, sweat pouring down as he screams in horror. Seeing his friend's bloodied face and broken posture, Jaehyuk's shock curdles into trembling rage. His fists clench tight. Consumed by fury, he squeezes his fists until they bleed, his back radiating suppressed, explosive anger. Recalling the scene, his friend couldn't even speak. Jaehyuk feels a mix of boiling rage and crushing helplessness. Night falls. Jaehyuk sits alone on a bench, the silence of the street amplifying the storm inside his head. He grits his teeth on the steps. He's furious his friend got beaten and wants revenge, but his body is frozen. Because the enemy is invincible. Just the name terrifies him. He realizes he's just a coward, too scared to move. Suddenly, a cold voice cuts in. "Hey, loser." Lee Min-chai appears on the rooftop behind him. She's squatting there, smoking. Jaehyuk is startled, not expecting to run into his fierce tutor at a time like this. She snaps at him to get lost, but he stays. Swallowing his fear, he stammers, desperate for someone to listen. He spills the truth. His friend was destroyed by the invincible gang, and he's too terrified to do anything about it. He asks Min-chai if it's best to just avoid them. Deep down, he's just fishing for an excuse to run away. Min-chai walks away, casually agreeing, "Yeah, better not mess with that trash." Jaehyuk is stunned by her answer. She looks back from the stairs, eyes piercing. "Isn't that exactly what you wanted to hear, loser?" Her words hit him like a punch. Min-chai stands on the stairs, her voice dripping with sarcasm. She reminds him he got what he wanted, safety, so why is he playing hero now? Her anger boils over, asking if he thinks he's some champion of justice. She leaves him with a harsh truth. No matter how strong he gets, there's always someone stronger. Watching his mentor walk away, Jaehyuk stands alone in the dark, hollowed out. He can only whisper a weak agreement, realizing he might have crossed a line. Back at school, the days of being trampled are over. Students part like the Red Sea when he walks by. No one dares to lay a finger on him now. Since he's safe, should he just keep his head down like Min-chai said? His internal debate is suddenly cut short by a commotion nearby. Down the hall, the blonde bully Park Do-seop is shaking down students looking for glasses. Seo Doyen steps in, unable to watch Daesum get harassed. Caught selling fakes, the bully doesn't even flinch. He shamelessly claims they're legit from a connection, wearing that smug grin like a badge of honor. He crosses the line by trying to buy Daesum's time with cash. That snaps Seo Doyen's patience, and he charges in with blind fury. Doyen lands a solid kick to the head, but the blonde psychopath just laughs it off, his eyes lighting up with twisted excitement. The brawl erupts, but Park Do-seop is on another level. As a member of Invincible, his counterattacks are too fast to track. In a single move, Doyen is sent flying, crashing violently into the doorframe like a ragdoll. The power gap is terrifying. Standing over his defeated opponent, Do-seop laughs and issues a chilling warning to the crowd. This is what happens when you mess with Invincible. Watching from the sidelines, Jaehyuk can't stop shaking. The primal fear of violence, he thought he buried, is clawing its way back out. But for the sake of the victims, Jae-hyuk forces himself to go to the storage room. Under everyone's gaze, he hands over the bag of returns. Jae-hyuk gathers his courage to demand a full refund. Do-seop looks at him like he's a joke, sneezing at the request with pure malice. Since reasoning won't work, Jae-hyuk grits his teeth and screams out the decision that terrifies him most. If you won't refund it, let's fight. It's a desperate gamble. If he wins, the bullying stops. If he loses, he's dead meat. It's the last stand of the underdog. Do-seop was looking for an excuse to crush him anyway. Hearing the challenge, he lights up. The atmosphere turns blood red. Violence is imminent. Looking at his prey, Do-seop grins like a predator. He can't wait to crush this wannabe hero with his own bare hands. Jae-hyuk is desperate. Sweating and shouting, he throws down the gauntlet. If I lose, do whatever you want. But if I win... Jae-hyuk demands an end to the bullying. Opposite him, the tattooed thug Park Do-seop smirks, saying he's been itching to crush him anyway. Do-seop calls Jae-hyuk trash, mocking him for hanging around. Invincible. The crowd whispers nervously this is getting serious. Jae-hyuk exposes the truth. Do-seop's been scamming freshmen with fake goods. Hearing this, the silver-haired leader Philip's smile turns dangerous. An executive member steps in, scolding the blonde thug for acting without orders. But the punk just plays dumb, laughing and claiming he doesn't speak English. Tension explodes as the thug threatens to fight his own crew member. Suddenly, Philip steps in with a single, commanding word. Stop! Philip wraps his arms around them, smiling and calling them friends. The blonde thug fumes silently, forced to suppress his rage. Having settled his men, Philip turns to Jae-hyuk. With a bright smile, he asks if Jae-hyuk truly understands the price of this challenge. Jae-hyuk freezes, terrified as the weight of the entire gang bears down on him. Seeing his fear, Philip bursts into laughter, claiming it was just a joke. Philip looks amused. He doesn't see Jae-hyuk as a threat, just entertainment. He approves the one-on-one fight for his own amusement. The minions quickly clear the room, moving tables and chairs. In moments, a brutal makeshift arena is ready. Philip declares everyone a witness, letting them set the terms. Jae-hyuk clutches his face, terrified but cornered. There's no turning back. Do-seop trembles with excitement as Philip signals the start. The scene cuts outside. Cold raindrops fall onto an outstretched hand. Heavy rain falls at the school gate. Min-shai is worrying about where loser went when someone suddenly calls her name. It's a classmate asking about the loser. Min-shai snaps back instantly, only she gets to call him that. He teases her back, calling her bangs. They bicker in the rain, eventually forced to share a jacket for cover. Back at the gym storage. Only 3 minutes have passed. Philip stands by the door, smiling cryptically. Didn't expect it to end like this. His subordinate replies that it was expected. The camera cuts to a bloody figure, wheezing in pain. It was a one-sided massacre. It's Jae-hyuk on the ground, beaten to a pulp. Do-seop stands over him without a scratch, laughing maniacally at his pathetic attempt. The fight is completely one-sided. The top student kneels, gasping for air, unable to even see the punches, while the blonde guy stands over him, laughing in mockery. Before he can recover, the blonde strikes again. The speed is insane. 4 eyes can only block desperately, taking a one-sided beating. Covered in blood, panic sets in for the protagonist. This guy's punches aim specifically for his blind spots. He can't predict them at all. The gap in skill is massive. Facing a storm of punches, he refuses to just sit there and die. He screams and swings blindly, trying to force a counterattack. But this clumsy resistance looks like a joke to the onlookers. The silver-haired leader watches with a smirk, coldly pointing out the truth. Attacks aren't working, and the kid is terrified. Sure enough, kicks and grapples are easily countered by the tattooed guy. The protagonist is slammed to the floor again, realizing in despair that nothing is working. Another punch to the face. He finally realizes this guy is a trained boxer. Amateur street fighting moves stand no chance here. The silver-haired boss reveals the truth. While MMA might counter boxing, that only applies if skills are equal. This opponent is a legitimate elite boxer. And this guy is a maniac. Biting off noses in the ring, shattering facial bones, beating up coaches. He's not competing, he's enjoying the violence. That violent psychopath was forcibly transferred here, becoming the thug part dosiop we know today. Now, he stands there laughing like a beast looking at its prey. Above is the abuser's ecstasy, below is the victim's despair. Faced with such overwhelming power, the protagonist is left with nothing but helplessness and fear, not knowing what to do. Add page showcasing the author's other works. Cut to outside the school, pouring rain. Some girls are complaining about the weather when they spot the former top dog, Seo Doyen, waiting quietly at the door. A girl asks where Four Eyes went. Seo Doyen looks clueless. They're all waiting for Kim Jae-hyuk, but no one can reach him. The rain gets heavier, and the mood turns grim. No one knows that the so-called loser is currently going through absolute hell. Back to the fight, the tragedy continues. A heavy punch smashes into his face while the tattooed guy looks relaxed, treating this like a game. Even with his consciousness fading, he finds a split-second opening. Tanking the punches, he slams a desperate kick into the guy's stomach. But the cost is high. As he lands the kick, his face takes another massive hit. Blood sprays everywhere, and he screams in agony. A direct hit to the jaw. Jae-hyuk's vision swims. He remembers Minchi's lesson. No matter who it is, a clean shot to the jaw means game over. The spectators watch with cold amusement. Jae-hyuk struggles on the floor, world spinning. He realizes with horror, this guy is on a completely different level. The tattooed maniac laughs menacingly. Is this the true power of Invincible? Before Jae-hyuk can recover, the brutal assault continues. No chance to fight back. The tattooed thug rains down blows. Jae-hyuk can only cover his head and grit his teeth, praying he can hold on. His consciousness is fading. The pain breaks him. The hero facade crumbles as instinct takes over, and he begs, "Stop, please." The thug looks down at his prey with a cruel grin. Jae-hyuk kneels, blood and tears mixing on his face, admitting total defeat. I lost. I can't do this. Think surrendering will stop him? Naive. The tattoo guy's eyes glow red with bloodlust. He laughs and swings again. Not a chance. A brutal kick sends Jae-hyuk flying. He screams in midair, desperate and terrified. I said I lost. Please stop. The thug laughs like a demon while pounding him. Anyone who messes with me doesn't leave until they're half dead or pissing themselves. The violence escalates. The maniac's laughter grows louder as Jae-hyuk's pupils dilate in shock, his mouth only capable of weak moans. He's actually going to die. Jae-hyuk is tossed around like a ragdoll, the terror of death consuming him completely. Help me! Jae-hyuk screams desperately to the onlookers, but his pleas only make the gang members laugh harder. Suddenly, the silver-haired leader steps in. Instead of helping his subordinate, he kicks the crazy tattoo guy to the ground. Silence falls. The silver-haired leader, Han Philip, coldly orders his man to back off. Even the brutal tattoo guy cowers before him like a dog. Han Philip approaches Jae-hyuk with his signature fake smile, extending a devil's invitation. Jae-hyuk, how about joining Invincible? Bloodied and traumatized, Jae-hyuk stares up at the man who just saved him but who is clearly the most dangerous one here. Philip's smile vanishes. He reaches into his pocket, his voice colder than ice. If you refuse, then just die here. The threat feels suffocatingly real. A vision of the consequences flashes by, tortured into insanity, foaming at the mouth, a fate worse than death. Suddenly, Philip spins around and blasts his own men away with a single punch. This unpredictable violence is more terrifying than any beating. A deafening crash as the door is smashed to pieces. Philip freezes, and even the despairing Jae-hyuk widens his eyes. Someone has broken in. Debris litters the floor, tension peaking. Heavy footsteps echo as a long-haired powerhouse strides through the dust, radiating menace. Scene transition, a brief pause in the story, showcasing other ongoing works. Chaos reigns inside as the silver-haired boss lands a hit. Suddenly, boom! The door is blasted off its hinges. Dust settles, revealing Song Gun-Ho. He walks in like a savior, his overwhelming presence freezing everyone in place. Philip, the boss of Invincible, narrows his eyes, recognizing the intruder. Song Gun-Ho, from Unrivaled? Gun-Ho scratches his head, smiling innocently. Ah, sorry about the door. Heard Jae-hyuk was here for a refund. It wasn't about a refund. He heard screams from the locked room and didn't hesitate to smash his way in. He slings the unconscious Jae-hyuk over his shoulder. Philip blocks the way, sneering, "Put him down. The loser belongs to us." The redhead steps up, questioning their stance. Song Jae-hwa snaps back, "Don't get it twisted. I came alone because this isn't a fair fight." Facing the mob's threats, Jae-hwa just smirks, fearless. "Got a problem? Come find me at Baekwon High. I'll take you all on." Gun-Ho leaves with the kid. Philip stops his men from chasing, wearing a twisted smile. Let them go. That was entertaining enough. While Philip laughs in the shadows, Jae-hyuk lies broken in a hospital bed, doctors tending to his wounds. Outside, the short-haired girl explodes with rage, kicking the air. No major injuries? Look at his face. Are those guys gangsters? Bandaged like a mummy, Jae-hyuk bows apologetically. He forces a smile, thanking Gun-Ho, trying desperately not to worry his friends. Before leaving, a friend asks, "Why act so tough?" Jae-hyuk freezes, his fake smile vanishing into the cold night air. Back home, water cascades over his scars. Jae-hyuk hangs his head, the sting of defeat hurting more than the wounds. "I lost completely." The memory of the tattooed thug's fist flashes back. Terror floods his mind, and his hand begins to tremble uncontrollably. "I thought I was going to die." He steps out, clean but shaken. The trauma clings to him, a shadow that won't wash away. Minchai sneaks up and startles him. She instantly switches to boss mode, ordering the loser to sit down. Confused, Jae-hyuk watches as Minchai gently applies ointment to his bruised legs. She scolds him for his reckless rage, but is relieved his mom is away and won't see him in this state. Jae-hyuk sighs, admitting his weakness. Minchai looks on with a heavy heart, knowing there's always someone stronger. She pokes his bruised face with a final warning, "Don't get cocky, and never fight alone again." Dropping a line about her wounded pride as a teacher, she turns away, leaving Jae-hyuk stunned. Night falls, and the nightmares return. Visions of Park Do-seop's brutal violence replay in his mind. Blood and screams fill his sleep until he jolts awake, heart pounding, gasping for air. Sitting in the dark, drenched in cold sweat, his will breaks. The fear is too much, he never wants to fight again. Back at school, he's numb. Seeing his friends get extorted doesn't even spark anger anymore. A bully corners him, casually demanding money. Jae-hyuk trembles in fear, unable to resist. The moment he pays, other bullies swarm in like sharks, sensing his weakness and demanding their share. His hands shake uncontrollably at the thought of fighting back. He's returned to being a helpless victim. Desperate to escape reality, he forces himself to focus solely on tutoring Minchai, burying his trauma in work. The doorbell interrupts the lesson. Minchai shamelessly orders her tutor to go fetch her delivery. Grumbling, Jae-hyuk opens the door, only to find an empty hallway. No delivery guy in sight. Surprise! Sarah pops up from below with fried chicken and a huge grin, breaking the gloomy atmosphere. Credits page with mascot asking for support. Promotional page for other webtoons. The door swings open and Hong Sarah bursts in with fried chicken. She grins widely, shouting, "Long time no see, loser!" Jae-hyuk's jaw drops in shock. He stammers, asking why she's here, and Sarah cheekily replies, "Because I missed you." She tackles him to the ground immediately. But mid-laugh, she notices his bruise and gets serious. What happened to your eye? Minchai peeks out from the kitchen and catches them wrestling on the floor. Sarah is still squishing Jaehyuk, making for a chaotic reunion. Minchai asks about the bruise, then casually roasts him. He picked a fight with a delinquent and got his ass kicked. Sarah bursts into laughter. Jaehyuk tries to explain, but Sarah says, "Let Nuna comfort you," before putting him in a guillotine choke, leaving him gasping for air. Poking fun at his loss, Sarah's eyes light up with excitement. If you lost, the guy must be strong. Want me to teach you how to win again? The teasing from both girls is too much. Jaehyuk turns beet red and dizzy, his brain frying from the overwhelming attention. Sarah drops a bombshell. She got permission from his mom to stay over for a few days. Jaehyuk panics. What? Again? Back at school, reality hits hard. Jaehyuk keeps his head down as he transfers money to the bullies, who thank him with a fake smile. Losing the fight means total submission. Standing alone in the hallway, Jaehyuk's eyes look dead. He's given up resisting, resigning himself to be their ATM. He reaches the clubroom, but feels like a burden and can't bring himself to enter. Just as he turns to leave, someone calls his name. It's Ilgu's friends. The scene shifts to night as they explain worriedly. Ilgu is missing, not answering calls, and was seen wandering on a rooftop. His friend is sweating nervously, saying Ilgu has been acting strange and hiding away. They all imagine the worst-case scenario, him standing on that dark rooftop edge. No way! Panicked, they sprint through the night streets. Looking up, they spot a silhouette standing right on the edge of the roof. It's him. They scramble up the stairs like madmen, screaming Ilgu's name, terrified they might be 1 second too late. They burst onto the rooftop only to find Ilgu isn't jumping. He's hanging from a pull-up bar, working out, and looks totally confused by their screaming. His friends rush over and shake him. We thought you were gonna do something stupid. Ilgu awkwardly explains he just wanted to work out in peace. Clearing up the misunderstanding, Ilgu scratches his head shyly. Looking at the punching bag, he tears up. I was thinking of Jaehyuk. I want to become strong like him. The bespectacled ace is drowning in self-doubt. Despite the endless training, the frustrating sense of weakness remains. To make matters worse, he's been doing it wrong. Mocking laughter surrounds him, stinging like a slap to the face. Watching a fellow victim fight back, he hangs his head in shame. While others fought, he only thought of running. One loss brings the fear rushing back. Memories of that red-haired maniac swinging a fire extinguisher haunt him like a nightmare. Facing that massive bully was terrifying. But he remembers Seo Doyen's eyes, courage squeezed out from the depths of despair. No more being a coward. Gritting his teeth, he throws punch after punch, pushing his body past its breaking point. He finally snaps, screaming desperately at his blonde mentor. Tell me! How do I win this fight? Instead of being shocked, the two mentors just laugh. The blonde girl looks at him with amusement. Finally, he's got some fire. This burning desire to win is exactly the key to unlocking the next level. The glasses boy is panting, eyes burning with rage. But the girls on the floor just chill, finding his outburst amusing. Screaming won't win fights. The blonde mentor gets practical. If you want a strategy, we need footage of him fighting. No footage, but he has connections. A name pops into his head, and by the next morning, he's at school making moves. He asked the reformed Seo Doyen for help. On the other end of the line, a tattooed thug seems to have dug up some dirt. Bad news. The target is the number 3 guy in Invincible, a dirty fighter known for beating opponents half to death. Rumor has it he's joining a real fight club street match 2 days from now at a nearby parking lot. Seo Doyen looks worried, warning him it's suicide. The glasses boy imagines himself beaten to a pulp, and fear grips his heart. Fear or not, he can't hide anymore. He takes a deep breath, eyes hardening. Nothing changes unless I face this. Filming day, the lot is packed. Mask on, he blends into the crowd, while the blonde girl next to him is buzzing like a fangirl. The massive fighter, nicknamed Murder Demon, is losing his patience. Suddenly, the crowd stirs. The main event has arrived. The tattooed former elite boxer enters with a cocky grin. The girls on the sidelines speculate that since he's a boxer, his ground game must be weak. They think a simple tackle will finish him, but the moment the fight starts, the mad dog charges in with terrifying speed. Fists fly. The opponent is skilled, dodging with sharp reflexes, but the intensity of the fight spikes instantly. Shockwaves go through the crowd. Everyone thought he was a pure striker, but he suddenly lunges for a tackle mid-fight. Not only that, he sidesteps the counter effortlessly, and even checks a low kick. These aren't the moves of a standard boxer. This guy is a monster. He blocks the kick and instantly counters, his barrage of punches turning the opponent's face into pulp. He weaves low like a boxer, then seamlessly transitions into a tackle. This mix-up style is absolute chaos to defend against. His takedown defense is flawless too. A perfect sprawl neutralizes the opponent's last hope, leaving the crowd stunned. Blocking high kicks, catching legs, he's anticipated every MMA move. The opponent is sweating bullets, mentally broken by this impenetrable wall. Absolute domination. The opponent cracks under despair and eats a devastating haymaker. Game over. The tattooed fighter laughs maniacally over the fallen body. Watching from the shadows, our protagonist trembles, realizing he was destroyed the exact same way. The crowd buzzes. The blonde coach finally figures it out. This guy used to lose street fights to grapplers, so he's specifically trained to counter them. On the rooftop at sunset, the blonde coach smirks with confidence. Now that she knows his background, she sees a path to victory. She excitedly tells the protagonist, he's a boxer at his core who just learned defense. If that's the case, I have the perfect strategy to beat him. With that, the crazy coach pounces on him with a suffocating bear hug. Leave it to your teacher. I'll make sure you win. Promotional page, no story content. Back to that suffocating hug. The blonde coach is pouring all her energy into cheering him up, promising victory with aggressive affection. But then, her expression turns serious as she clenches her fist. Getting stronger isn't hard. What you need is the courage to face the punch coming at you. Flashback to training. Minchai clenches her fist, assuring him, that's all you need. Jae-hyuk trembles in fear, but this lesson is his key to survival. In the alley, Jae-hyuk screams, clutching his eye. Minchai laughs maniacally, vowing to turn this wimp into a real man in just 2 weeks. Sarah teases him, making him blush, but Minchai cuts the crap. She tosses the gloves. Hellish training starts right now. 1 month later. The park is swarming with students in black suits, the air thick with tension and anticipation. Something big is coming. Leader Phillips smiles, confirming it was the nerd Jae-hyuk who begged for a rematch. Do-seop, the tattooed thug, smokes and smirks in disbelief. Flashback to the corridor. The coward didn't run. He challenged Do-seop straight up. 5 p.m. at the park. Even the bully was stunned. Do-seop laughs hysterically. Usually, his victims wet themselves, so this kid must just need another beating to learn his place. He stomps on a worm, grinding it into the pavement. He vows to crush the kid's skull just like that insect if he gets cocky. Back in the present, Philip eyes the massive crowd suspiciously. This is too big. He asks Do-seop if he leaked the fight info. It was Daniel, the bookworm. Philip isn't mad, he's amused. Since the big shots are here, he decides to just enjoy the show. The rival gangs arrive. First up is the Jonghak High Alliance led by Im Gwanho, eyeing the scene like a predator picking its next meal. Next comes the senior heavyweight Cha Byung-teek, followed by the Assassin League in shades. The tension spikes instantly. A mysterious red-haired number 1 watches from the back. Daniel claims he only told 20 people, but the rumor spread like wildfire. Philip sees the truth. They aren't here for a fight, but to see if Invincible will fall. Do-seop represents their power. He cannot lose. Philip grins mysteriously, announcing special guests. Just then, a familiar, cocky greeting drifts in from the distance. Utero, number 3 of the gang, strolls in wearing flip-flops. True to form, his first question is looking for girls, utterly relaxed. Alongside him is the furious-looking number 4, Choi Hwang. The top brass of Invincible is finally reunited, minus the one dropout. Taro brags about making money for the group. They joke around like old friends, completely dismissing the upcoming opponent. The crowd ripples with whispers. The challenger is here. But confusion spreads. He's much smaller and scrawnier than they expected. Jae-hyuk walks alone through the sea of enemies, eyes closed, breathing steady. Under the gaze of hundreds, he doesn't shake. He's ready. The usually quiet top student Jae-hyuk suddenly accelerates from a walk to a full sprint, leaving bystanders completely confused. He charges through the crowd like a madman and slams into Park Do-seop, shocking the smoker enough to drop his cigarette. No time to breathe. Jae-hyuk launches a flying kick. The crowd erupts, split between calling it a cheap shot and enjoying the show. Park Do-seop reacts fast, confidently preparing to check a low kick, a smirk on his face as he thinks he's read the move. Just as he blocks, Jae-hyuk's leg changes trajectory in mid-air. A Brazilian kick slams into Park Do-seop's unguarded head. This is the core of Lee Min-chi's strategy: unpredictability, a move designed to catch a conventional fighter completely off guard. That kick shattered his ego. Park Do-seop's face twists in fury, eyes bloodshot, as he swears to kill the nerd who dared to strike him. Facing a raging beast, Kim Jae-hyuk doesn't flinch. His eyes burn with desperation and resolve. I'm not losing either. Chapter 56 concludes here, pausing the intense battle momentarily. Flashback to the training session, where Lee Min-chi breaks down Park Do-seop's fighting habits under the evening sky. She points out that while Do-seop is a boxer, he has trained specific defenses against kicks and takedowns, making him a complete fighter. Having learned from street fights, he shored up his weaknesses. Basic low or high kicks won't penetrate his guard. To win, you need moves he hasn't seen. Lee Min-chi's solution: a kick that changes its trajectory mid-air. Back to the fight, the strategy worked perfectly. The replay of the Brazilian kick proves the victory of intelligence over brute force. Meanwhile, hearing the news, classmates are rushing frantically to the scene, afraid to miss the showdown. Friends arrive just in time to see Park Do-seop on the brink of madness, looking ready to tear Jae-hyuk apart. Jae-hyuk roars to hype himself up, throws a fake jab, and immediately dives for a single leg takedown. Park Do-seop smugly blocks the takedown, not realizing it's a trap. Jae-hyuk spins out of it and lands a brutal backspin elbow right to his face. Just as Lee Min-chi predicted, Park Do-seop's tight defense against takedowns became the very weakness Jae-hyuk exploited. Flashback to the strategy meeting. Jae-hyuk is panicking. Trying to outbox a pro like Do-seop is absolute suicide. Min-chi laughs off his fear. The plan isn't to box him, but to use strikes that don't exist in the ring. Back to the fight. Boom! A spinning back elbow slams into Do-seop's face. He never saw that coming. The crowd goes wild. Feinting a takedown to land an elbow? Jae-hyuk played him like a fiddle. He's not done. Crunch. A brutal headbutt follows up. Illegal in boxing, but devastating in a street fight. Do-seop is wobbling, visibly groggy. Sarah screams from the sidelines, "Don't stop. Finish him now." Jae-hyuk unleashes a storm of punches. He's pouring everything he has into keeping the monster down. But something feels off. The crowd whispers, "Why isn't he down yet?" The silver-haired boss just watches, amused. Chilling. Do-seop smiles through the pain. His eyes snap open, and Jae-hyuk instinctively recoils in horror. The guy is a tank. Do-seop growls, radiating pure rage. The attacks only made him madder. Time for the secret weapon. Flashback reveals a special guest instructor, the Taekwondo powerhouse, Song Jae-woo. If you want moves that aren't in boxing, you need kicks. Jae-woo is here to teach the ultimate strike. Here it comes. Jaehyuk launches into the air a perfect 540-degree tornado kick. Connects. The heel smashes into Do-seop's skull with a sickening thud. The crowd screams in disbelief. Wait! Jaehyuk is terrified. He barely blocked a counterattack instantly after landing. That was way too close. Create distance. Jaehyuk scrambles back, but the bloodied monster is relentlessly closing in. Suddenly, Do-seop stops and drops his guard completely. No defense? He's just standing there, breathing heavy. It's clearly a trap, inviting Jaehyuk in. But hesitation is fatal. Jaehyuk grits his teeth and goes for it. If you won't move, I will. Jaehyuk circles around and blasts another spinning kick into his open back. Another hit. It looks like a win, but the silver-haired boss smirks ominously. Look closer. Do-seop smashes his fist down, cracking the ground as Jaehyuk barely reacts, pinned by the overwhelming force. Jaehyuk is sent flying, but the silver-haired observer smirks. He took the hit on purpose just to create an opening. Fighting through the pain, Jaehyuk clutches his chest and springs back up, his eyes burning with vengeance despite the cold sweat. They square off again, gritted teeth against manic laughter, the tension reaching a breaking point. Episode 57 concludes, but the brutal fight is only just reaching its climax. Back in the fight, the tattooed thug's assault is relentless, sweeping Jaehyuk off his feet with a brutal kick. Even as his body screams in pain, Jaehyuk forces himself up. It's not over. This is just the beginning. Under the bright sun, the battered honor student takes his stance again, facing down the manic fighting monster. Noticing his opponent's lack of guard, Jaehyuk decides to gamble and rushes in with a double jab. He spins violently, landing a clean back fist on the thug's neck. But the guy is actually smiling after taking the hit. He follows up instantly with a taekwondo stomp. The hits land, but the opponent's eerie calmness is unsettling. It's a trap. The thug tanks the damage to grab Jaehyuk, executing a ruthless flesh for bone strategy. Seizing the opening, the thug unleashes a heavy blow, sending Jaehyuk flying like a ragdoll. Classmates scream in terror, while Philip watches with amusement. Trading blows like that, someone's going to drop first. Drenched in cold sweat, Jaehyuk realizes he can't take another counter. He switches tactic spin kick. He launches the kick, but the thug blocks it solid. The girl watching gasps in total shock. Jaehyuk follows up instantly with a back elbow to the gut, but the thug's counter strikes at the exact same moment. I can see it! The thug grins maniacally, smashing Jaehyuk again. Don't try the same move on me twice! The tables have turned completely. The thug predicts every move, driving Jaehyuk into a desperate corner with every punch. Minchai analyzes from the sidelines, but it's too late. The tattooed guy reads Jaehyuk like a book, predicting his move and landing a devastating punch to the face. It's a one-sided massacre. The tattooed guy laughs manically, treating Jaehyuk like a punching bag and screaming that the fun is just getting started. Through the pain, Jaehyuk finds focus. He launches himself into the air, executing a desperate taekwondo 540-degree kick. The kick connects, but the tattooed guy blocks it with a check hook. Spectators watch in shock. His reaction speed is inhuman. Mocking him for using the same move, the tattooed guy counters instantly. His fist sends Jaehyuk flying, highlighting the massive gap in power. The tattooed guy goes berserk. A barrage of punches rains down as he screams time to die, his bloodlust completely taking over. Momentum has shifted completely. The suit guy declares the game over, while the red-haired kid covers his face in terror, convinced Jaehyuk is finished. Despair consumes Jaehyuk as he fears losing again. The tattooed guy, face twisted in malice, threatens to beat him until he breaks completely. Jaehyuk trembles in fear, feeding the tattooed guy's ego. A bystander coldly remarks that this humiliation is simply the fate of a loser. Grabbing Jaehyuk by the hair, the tattooed guy humiliates him like a predator toying with prey, punishing him for daring to challenge a lion. Bloodied and broken, Jaehyuk's resolve crumbles. His inner voice screams in agony. Is he destined to remain a pathetic loser forever? In the depths of despair, a memory flashes back. A sunset rooftop, where Minchai coldly called him a loser. In the flashback, Minchai asks how to beat Dosiop. Jae-hyuk stammers about strategy, but she cuts him off. That's not what matters. She stares him down. The key is belief. Against a monster like Dosiop, skills are useless if you don't believe in yourself. She presses him. Does he truly believe he can win? Jae-hyuk falls silent, realizing his self-doubt is his biggest enemy. Minchai points a fist at him. Strength isn't special. All he needs is the courage to face an incoming punch head-on. If you have the courage, I'll teach you a technique. The memory fades, and reality crashes back in. The next punch is coming. Back in the fight, Jae-hyuk takes the hits. But he grits his teeth, forcing down the fear. He has to believe. He has to try. Staring at the massive fist flying towards him, Jae-hyuk doesn't flinch. He widens his eyes and leans his face directly into the danger. Smash! The punch connects brutally, twisting his face. But he took the hit on purpose. It's time to counter. The tattooed giant lunges, but Jae-hyuk leans back, dodging by a hair. His eyes sharpen instantly. He's not just surviving, he's setting up a lethal counter. Superman punch. Jae-hyuk launches himself into the air, driving his fist into the giant's face. Blood sprays as the unexpected move lands with devastating force. I'll go all out! Jae-hyuk roars, unleashing a torrential barrage of punches. His opponent can only scream in agony as the relentless assault overwhelms him. Precision meets fury. Jae-hyuk locks onto the chin, delivering bone-crushing blows. It's not just rage. It's a calculated demolition of his opponent's defenses. Minchai's lesson echoes in his mind. Put your weight behind a chin strike, and size won't matter. Jae-hyuk channels everything into this final, decisive blow. Lights out. The giant's eyes roll back as the impact reverberates through his skull. His massive frame crumbles, crashing backward in total defeat. The bully hits the ground with a thunderous crash, sprawled out cold. Jae-hyuk stands over him, gasping for air, his knuckles raw and red from the battle. Jae-hyuk catches his breath, staring down at the bloody, unconscious giant. The onlookers are frozen in shock, unable to process the brutal upset they just witnessed. Shockwaves ripple through the crowd. From the suits to the students, jaws drop in disbelief. The underdog didn't just survive, he dominated. Minchai smirks, proud of her student. Amidst the roaring crowd, Jae-hyuk looks at his hands, the realization finally sinking in. I actually won! Ad page skipped. The aftermath was swift. Defeated and broken, Park Do-seop submitted his withdrawal form. He walked away from school, fading into the background, alone. Jae-hyuk sits quietly amidst the gossip, fist clenched on the table. He reflects on the semester's chaos, fight after fight, struggle after struggle. He never backed down. Memories of his weak, crying self flash by. Has he changed? Definitely. And he knows exactly who to thank for dragging him through hell to get here. Lee Minchai. From Minchai's brutal drills to Sarah's tactical training, and every friend who cheered him on, they were the ones who forged him into a fighter. Ironically, he even owes a debt to his enemies. Staring down those terrifying bullies forced him to evolve. Without them, he'd still be a victim. They were like a flu vaccine. The pain only built his immunity. Realizing this, Jae-hyuk sighs in relief, looking up at the sky with a newfound sense of peace. But loose ends remain. Jo Sangbom hasn't shown his face at school since their fight. Is he delivering food now? No one knows, and that silence is unsettling. Meanwhile, Hong Daebon looks unrecognizable. Stress made him lose a ton of weight. Now, he's taking his bitterness out on Han Sol, mocking him mercilessly in the hallway. Bolka tries to hire a hitman in the dark woods, but realizes the Assassin League might be more terrifying than he bargained for. Scene shift. Seo Doyoung gets swarmed by girls, but the mood is tense as rumors about the dangerous Park Do-seop start circulating. In the gym, the tattooed Park Do-seop skips rope with lethal intensity, while back at school, the semester finally draws to a close. Finals are brutal. Four Eyes sweats bullets over his test paper, while Minchai looks like she's dying of boredom until nightfall. Back in the room, Four Eyes demands to see her grades, only to be greeted by a dismal collection of 30-point test papers. Minchai snatches his report card, and her eyes pop out straight 100s. The fighter girl instantly bows down to the nerd's genius. Turns out she was juggling training and studying. By midnight, the tutor is absolutely drained by his students' chaotic energy. Study session over, Minchai slumps on the vent for a smoke break while Four Eyes stands guard like a loyal puppy. Minchai gets serious, reminding him that having the courage to face an incoming punch is what truly makes a winner. Flashbacks hit him hard, the pain of getting smashed in the face, but more importantly, the moment he swung back. Hearing Minchai call him strong, Four Eyes literally jumps for joy, even if she downplays it as just a rookie fight. While he's glowing with pride, he notices Sarah spamming the group chat, blowing up the infamous Minchai and her minions thread. Remembering how this chaotic group forced their way into her life, Minchai stares at her buzzing phone, looking done with it all. The chat is wild with vacation plans. Minchai tries to yell about studying, but gets swept up in the excitement instead. Minchai suddenly drops a bomb. "Since I made you strong, you have to take responsibility for me, loser." Four Eyes nearly has a heart attack at her words, then scrambles to catch up, secretly loving the chaos. Watching her walk ahead, he grins like an idiot, wishing these peaceful, happy days could last forever. Summer break is on. Sarah hypes up the chat, demanding sexy bikinis and hunting for handsome guys at the beach. No time wasted, the whole squad piles onto the train, wheels clacking rhythmically as they head for the coast. Despite his nerves about the trip, the moment they see the ocean, everyone cheers under the blazing sun. Beach time. While the boys haul the luggage, the girls sprint toward the ocean. Sun, sand, and waves. This is where friendship and love begin. Watching the girls walk barefoot in the sand, one of the guys swallows hard. The burning question on his mind: who's wearing the sexiest bikini? Jae-hyuk completely loses it. Shocked by their sudden transformation, his heart pounds like crazy. He knows something wild is about to happen. Meanwhile, in the shadows, the silver-haired boss plots his move. Jae-hyuk's growth hasn't gone unnoticed. The hunt is about to begin. With a confident smirk and a bead of sweat, Jae-hyuk marks the end of part 1. The weak boy is gone. A fighter has taken his place. The story continues. While we catch our breath, check out the studio's other hit series waiting for you. Part 2 starts now. Back to the beach where romance blooms. Everyone is gathered, ready for the next chapter of their lives. They've arrived. Sarah screams in pure joy. Sun, sand, and endless ocean. The vacation officially kicks off. Jaws drop at the luxury villa with a pool. They scored this place thanks to Minchie's friend, though her nickname causes a bit of drama. Sarah gets hands on, marveling at the muscles. The big guy blushes hard. He's not used to girls actually appreciating his physique. Sarah rolls on the floor laughing, calling Jae-hyuk weakling Appa in front of everyone. Total humiliation, even as the guys try to defend his honor. The girls praise his victory, but Jae-hyuk sweats nervously. He knows it was just luck deep down. He's terrified he's still not strong enough. Bags drop, rooms are claimed. No time to rest, though. Everyone rushes out to hit the beach immediately. The beach is packed. While the boys comment on the crowd, the girls are already splashing in the waves, living their best lives. Surrounded by beauties, Gun, who admits he's desperate for a girlfriend. Then he turns the tables. What about you guys? Anyone you like? The question hits home. The dark-haired boy instantly blushes, a specific girl's face popping into his mind. He can't hide it. Jae-hyuk panics. Why is his tutor's face the first thing he sees? He screams internally, terrified that he might actually have feelings for the girl who beats him up. A girl loses her flow tie, and Gun has seized his chance. He dives into the ocean like a hero, desperate to impress the ladies. As his friends wander off, Jae-hyuk stands alone at the water's edge. The vast ocean brings a sudden wave of quiet reflection. It feels too good to be true. With tears in his eyes, the boy who lived in hell wonders, is it really okay for me to be this happy? Just trying to zone out on the beach, when a deadly question hits from behind. Whose bikini is the sexiest? Demon tutor Minchai grins mischievously, starting the torture. Jae-hyuk buries his face in agony. This is worse than training. Blonde bombshell Sarah strikes first, tugging at her bikini and winking confidently, aiming to stun Four Eyes completely. Jae-hyuk can't even look. Then the usual brawler girl steps up, blushing heavily while trying to act tough. She tells him not to stare, yet strikes a pose anyway, demanding he declare a winner right now. Minchi's turn. The usually aggressive tutor is unexpectedly shy, fidgeting in her one piece and asking how she looks. Chaos erupts. Spacey Daysum joins in, and Sarah screams for attention, refusing to be ignored. Sarah turns around to flaunt her curves, asking for an opinion while internally dying of embarrassment. The four beauties line up for the verdict. Jae-hyuk tries to laugh it off and escape into the sea, panicked. Escape failed. Sarah locks him in a crocodile choke. Jae-hyuk nearly passes out from the suffocation in the view. The poor guy blacks out. He wakes up with Minchai stepping on his head, realizing he can't move a muscle. He's buried in the sand. Instead of helping, the girls treat him like a tourist attraction, snapping photos and laughing. Freed from the sand, they splash in the water and snack, finally enjoying a rare, violence-free moment. Building sandcastles, posing for pics, and intense beach volleyball. This is what a high school trip should be. Sunset falls. Famished, they head back as Sarah mentions the pension is currently run by her unique cousin. Sarah warns everyone to be careful around her. They open the door, stepping into a strangely tense atmosphere. A redhead stands with her back to them, chugging a drink. She instantly spots the grocery bags in their hands. Her eyes lock onto the beer cans. Her expression shifts instantly from lazy to absolute rage. The cousin explodes. Who brought booze? She confiscates it all, screaming that adults will do the drinking. But she lasts 3 seconds before passing out drunk on the couch, leaving the high schoolers staring in confusion. Drunk Ah Young suddenly lunges, grabs Jae-hyuk's face, and goes for a forced kiss. Jae-hyuk freezes in absolute terror. The scene cuts to a sunny beach paradise, but it's just the calm before the storm as romance and fighting vibes mingle in the air. Back inside, Jae-hyuk worries about Ah Young on the couch, but she suddenly tackles him, scaring the living soul out of him. Pink bubbles fill his imagination, but is this racing heart caused by blossoming romance or sheer panic? Reality is pure chaos. Drunk Ah Young tries to force a kiss while the shock girls rush in to pull her off. Jae-hyuk resists with all his might and saves his lips. Everyone sighs in relief. She's a human weapon when she drinks. Sarah and Minchai laugh their heads off while the culprit falls instantly asleep, leaving a traumatized Jae-hyuk trembling alone. After the chaos, the beach night turns chill. Meat sizzles on the grill as everyone raises a glass in a warm, cozy atmosphere. Ah Young acts like nothing happened and feeds Jae-hyuk. Minchai gets jealous and shoves food in his mouth before he can even swallow. Full and tired, everyone crashes in their rooms. The next morning, bright sunlight floods the beach villa, signaling a new day. A phone screen lights up at 7 a.m. A blaring wake-up call shatters the peaceful morning silence. Sarah storms into the boys' room blasting noise. Jae-hyuk covers his ears in agony. This isn't a vacation, it's torture. Before they can fully wake up, Sarah excitedly announces, as a fighting crew, a beach trip means one thing: special training. Jae-hyuk looks out the window in horror. The beach is littered with gloves and gear. These people are absolute demons. Sarah commands from the boardwalk, and everyone lines up on the sand. Today's menu: relay sparring. Minchai volunteers as timekeeper, 3-minute rounds. While some are pumped, others are already trembling at the sight. Ah Young, Beer in hand and bikini-clad, volunteers as referee. Flushed and tipsy, can she really judge a fight properly? With a spray of beer foam, the match starts. The girl in black gear steps up first, her eyes sharp and ready. The fighter girl trash-talks her opponent, but the big guy hesitates. How can he throw a punch at such a beautiful girl? Seeing his pretty opponent in pink, the big guy decides to just show off his charm, completely unaware of the disaster heading his way. Sarah suddenly switches gears, batting her eyelashes and asking if he'll hit her. Jae-hyuk is completely thrown off by this unexpected cuteness attack, his heart pounding. While Jae-hyuk is stunned, Sarah smiles sweetly and buries a fist in his gut. He goes flying, realizing too late that the charm was a trap, cold sweat dripping from the pain. Sarah laughs maniacally while launching more attacks. Jae-hyuk covers up, gritting his teeth. He knows he can't underestimate her just because she was joking. She's genuinely dangerous. Suddenly, Sarah drops low with an Imanari roll, tangling Jae-hyuk's legs and instantly locking in a heel hook. It's too fast and brutal. Jae-hyuk hits the ground before he can react. Jae-hyuk claws at the sand in agony, completely immobilized. Sarah lectures him from above. No matter how good your striking is, without grappling, you're dead meat against a pro. The spar ends with Sarah calling him a noob. Jae-hyuk sits in the sand, pounding the ground in frustration, hating how easily he was dominated. Before he can rest, Song Jae-woo steps up. Jae-hyuk locks eyes on her legs, alarms ringing in his head. He got lucky last time, but one kick now would finish him. Sure enough, Jae-woo launches a high kick. Jae-hyuk barely blocks it, but she uses the momentum to close the distance instantly. Her speed is terrifying. Before he can react, Jae-woo clinches him tightly from behind. Jae-hyuk struggles but can't budge, panicking. What kind of hold is this? He can't shake her off. The onlookers are baffled. This technique looks exactly like a back hug. The intense training vibe instantly turns awkward and strangely romantic. Jae-woo holds on tight, blushing with tears in her eyes, while Jae-hyuk is suffocating. Is this a confession or an assassination attempt? The next chapter preview hints at more trouble. Back to the scene. It's not a hug, it's a death squeeze. The friends watching have their jaws on the floor. This training is way too intense. Jae-hyuk screams in pain, feeling his ribs cracking, but Jae-woo hangs onto him like a koala, refusing to let go, determined to lock him down. Breaking the stalemate, Jae-woo suddenly explodes with power, executing a suplex that plants Jae-hyuk headfirst into the sand. It's a brutal move that kicks up a dust storm. Jae-hyuk spits out sand, jumping up to yell at her. Blushing furiously, Jae-woo swings a fist and claims she was just testing a technique, a lame excuse no one believes. The drama ends, and they walk off joking about the romantic scene. Jae-hyuk ignores the gossip. After that beating, he's just starving and wants food. Just as they think about food, they realize a glove is missing. No one wants to run back, so they settle it the old-fashioned way. Rock, paper, scissors. Loser goes. Of course, the one who suggested it loses. Jae-hyuk is the lucky loser. Jae-woo lost her cigarettes too, so the awkward pair has to head back to the beach together. They find the cigarettes quickly enough, but the glove is nowhere to be seen. As they look around, they spot something suspicious in the distance. Trouble isn't over yet. While Jae-hyuk sweats buckets, the tattooed thugs are having a blast with the stolen gloves. The blue-haired punk slips one on, joking about beating up random strangers just for kicks. Jae-hyuk is terrified and wants to let it go, but Min-shai isn't having it. With a gaze sharp enough to kill, she forces the trembling coward to go get their property back. Jae-hyuk forces himself to approach, every step heavy with dread. He stammers out a request for the gloves, but the blue-haired thug just stares back like he's looking at a bug. The thug sneers, flat out refusing to return them. He even feigns a punch just to see the nerd flinch, clearly enjoying the humiliation. Desperate, Jae-hyuk claims the gloves are theirs, and Min-shai points out the name inside. The thug checks, and sure enough, the proof is right there, silencing his lackeys. But the thug is shameless. He admits they're stolen, but refuses to return them simply because he likes them. Minchai watches from afar, her patience snapping instantly. The thug proposes a twisted bet: survive his punches for 1 minute to get the gloves back. Before Jae-yuk can react, Minchai accepts the challenge, her eyes burning with determination. Jae-yuk is horrified, thinking it's a death sentence. But Minchai stays cool, reminding the idiot that he just needs to survive. Didn't she teach him how to dodge? The blue-haired creep gets up close, actually trying to hit on Minchai and inviting her out. His greasy, lecherous grin is absolutely stomach-turning. That crosses the line. Seeing Minchai disrespected triggers something in Jae-yuk. The timid nerd snaps, roaring as he charges in to defend her honor. Just as Jae-yuk is about to charge blindly, Minchai's cold voice snaps him back to reality. The goal isn't to brawl, but to use tactics to survive. Memories of training flood back. Don't freeze up against a punch. Keep the head moving to confuse the opponent. It's a beginner's only way to survive. The timer starts. Jae-yuk takes his stance while the thugs mock him for looking like a scared pigeon. Minchai hits the button, and the 60-second countdown begins. The bully doesn't take the nerd seriously, launching a vicious haymaker aimed to end it instantly. The force of the punch tears through the air. He dodged it. The thug's jaws drop in disbelief. Jae-yuk keeps his upper body moving like a pendulum, making every punch miss its mark. Punches rain down, but to Jae-yuk, who survived hellish training, this thug moves in slow motion. His body reacts instinctively. The bully is losing his cool, cursing as he misses. Jae-yuk executes the strategy perfectly: parry the light jabs, duck under the haymaker's textbook defense. The untrained thug is already gasping for air, while Jae-yuk analyzes coldly. Swinging at full power has completely drained the guy's stamina. 10 seconds left. The bully loses it, screaming at Jae-yuk to stop dodging. Minchai counts down from the sidelines. Victory is within reach. Time's up! The bully's final, desperate lunging punch hits nothing but air. Jae-yuk lies back on the sand, winning the bet without taking a single scratch. Jae-yuk stands his ground as the blue-haired punk approaches. With calm authority, he demands the glove back, his composure completely rattling the thug. Panting and furious, the thug throws the glove into the sand, muttering about dirty tricks. Jae-yuk picks it up, but his sharp gaze suggests it's not over. Boiling with rage, the thug snaps. Feeling humiliated, he breaks the one-on-one deal and calls his gang over, ready to jump Jae-yuk. Jae-yuk panics, shouting about their deal, but the thug just sneers and cocks his fist. Just as the blow is about to land, the thug freezes in his tracks. A silver-haired guy strolls in casually, hands in pockets. He smiles and asks if they aren't taking things a bit too far, acting like he's just on a leisurely walk. Before anyone else reacts, one lackey recognizes him. His face goes pale as he stammers out, "P. Philip Young?" staring in absolute terror. The aggressive thug is instantly paralyzed, fist hovering in midair. That casual just passing by comment completely freezes the entire group. Standing under the open sky, Philip looks relaxed, but his question about causing a scene carries a heavy, undeniable pressure that silences everyone. He smiles innocently, while the girl in the white dress looks shocked. The realization hits everyone. This is the legendary Han Philip. The thugs, still clueless, try to act tough and ask who he is. Philip just smiles and points at Jae-yuk, casually claiming he knows the kid. Hearing their schoolmates, the thugs mock him and threaten, "You want to die?" Philip's eyes darken instantly, and he lets out a chilling low chuckle. Jae-yuk breaks into a cold sweat, realizing these idiots have no idea who they're messing with. Oblivious, the blue-haired thug keeps shouting, ready to attack. Suddenly, the redhead's face goes pale as realization strikes. He points at Philip and screams in terror, "I remember. That guy is from Invincible." The name Invincible freezes them. Realizing they provoked the leader of Seoul's most notorious gang, their arrogance instantly turns to pure despair. With his cover blown, Philip loses interest, looking bored. When his sister asks what Invincible is, he plays dumb, pretending to have no clue. The thugs scramble away, leaving Jae-yuk stunned. Philip strolls over with a grin, greeting him as if the near-violent brawl never even happened. Philip points to the girl in the white dress, proudly introducing his little sister, Manhwa. The scary gang leader vibe vanishes, replaced by a doting big brother. Roa bows politely, asking him to take care of her brother. Faced with such a cute girl, Jae-hyuk turns beet red and stammers out a clumsy greeting. The siblings wave goodbye, leaving Jae-hyuk standing alone on the sand. Watching them leave, he's still processing the shock of running into the terrifying Philip here. Jae-hyuk is still blushing over how cute she was, panic denying it when teased. Meanwhile, Roa curiously asks her brother if he's close to Jae-hyuk, sensing something interesting. Stuff from the feast, everyone is sprawled out on the floor, unable to move. From blue skies to city lights, the post-food coma hits the sweet spot. Jae-hyuk worries about the dishes, but Sarah screams to forget them. As rain starts pouring, she rushes out in excitement, leaving Jae-hyuk thinking she's totally lost it. The rain makes muscle-bound Gunho sentimental, reminding him of his crushing loss to Jae-hyuk. The girls immediately roast him. "Appa, didn't you get absolutely destroyed?" The teasing shifts to Seo Doyeon, mocking him as the new weakest link. The former top dog can only blush in silence, helpless against the roast. The girls gossip about Daesum and Doyeon. Daesum frantically insists they're just friends, and she doesn't see him as a guy, shattering Doyeon's heart instantly. Doyeon takes the friend zone hit with a bitter smile. Daesum tries to change the subject to fireworks, but the pouring rain washes that plan away. With fireworks off the table, Ah-hyung suggests a courage test at a nearby abandoned school. The spooky idea instantly wakes everyone up with excitement. Ah-hyung adds a spicy detail. Legend says if a boy and girl see a ghost there together, they're destined to become a couple. The girls go wild at the romantic stakes. Lottery time. The first result is a bombshell. Jae-hyuk and Min-chae are paired up. They both freeze, faces turning bright red as their hearts skip a beat. Next up, Musclehead Gunho gets paired with fierce Sarah, a chaotic duo. And naturally, Doyeon gets stuck with Daesum again, making things hilariously awkward. The last pair is Jaewoo and Ah-hyung. Jaewoo complains loudly but has no choice. As they head out into the rain, the spooky adventure officially begins. The rain pours as they squeeze under one umbrella. Despite the bickering, fear starts to creep in for Jaewoo, cold sweat trickling down at the thought of ghosts. She yells, "Don't get close, loser," but huddled under the umbrella in the dark rain, their hearts race. The physical closeness sparks something far more intense than fear,